The year was 1941. The world was engulfed in turmoil, and Great Britain emerged as the final bastion against a looming darkness. While history celebrates the valiance of soldiers and the resilience of civilians during the Blitz, a quieter narrative unfolded in the shadows, a tale woven not from gunfire and explosions, but from ink, paper, and a monumental debt that would shadow a nation for more than 60 years. Survival, we learn, is never without cost. Behind Winston Churchill's rousing speeches and every aerial victory lay a silent ledger filling with figures and obligations. This is the chronicle of the Lend-Lease Act, the greatest financial enigma of the 20th century. By 1941, Britain teetered on the brink of financial collapse. Gold reserves dwindled, and factories struggled to meet demands for aircraft and armaments. Across the Atlantic, the United States observed, poised to intervene. President Roosevelt referred to it as the arsenal of democracy. He famously declared that if your neighbor's house is ablaze, you don't sell them a garden hose, you lend it. However, in the high-stakes arena of global politics, nothing comes without strings. An avalanche of supplies, thousands of trucks, millions of tons of fuel, and a relentless flow of food, began flooding British ports. To the public, it represented a lifeline, while to the Treasury, it became a gilded cage, entrapping them in obligations. When peace was declared in 1945, jubilant celebrations erupted across London. The war had concluded, yet a new struggle awaited the British economy. The United States abruptly terminated the Lend-Lease program, forcing Britain into a dilemma: return the equipment or compensate for it at a reduced price. But how does one return a tank lost in North Africa? Or the fuel expended over the English Channel? Thus emerged an Anglo-American loan exceeding $4 billion, a staggering figure at the time, an amount that felt insurmountable. Terms were established, interest rates fixed, and the countdown began on a debt that would stretch across generations. As decades rolled onward, the world transformed beyond recognition. The British Empire fractured, the space race launched humanity toward the moon, and the Cold War rose and fell. Yet through all of it, the British government dutifully transferred millions of pounds annually across the ocean to the United States. The children of the war aged, and their grandchildren entered a world of technology and speed, yet they continued repaying for the trucks and grain of 1945. This obligation became a ghost lurking within the British economy, a silent reminder of that fateful day when the empire sought assistance. While most had forgotten its existence, the ledger remained unyielding. The final payment was not made until December 29, 2006. 61 years after the silence of guns, the British Treasury completed a last transaction of $83 million. On that winter's day, the debt was officially extinguished. A nation that had fought for its existence in the 1940s was finally, legally liberated from its obligations. It took over 6 decades of labor and taxation to settle the garden hose Roosevelt had promised. As we reflect on the cinematic chronicle of the silent century, we must understand that history is not merely composed of heroes and villains, it embodies the heavy, silent weight of the choices made to endure. This tale of survival reminds us of the unspoken debts we bear and the sacrifices that shape our destiny.